what is a private network and what is it for? So, probably a lot of people watching this, I expect, already have a pretty good idea, or in fact, know exactly what a private mobile network is. But it's worth stopping and thinking about it because maybe your preconceptions are getting in your way. Or maybe you're not one of those people and you've just come here to understand a bit better. So, at STL Partners, we have a working definition of a private network that we use. This helps us define the market that we're analysing, and we use it for things like market sizing and understanding market segments and things like that. So it's important for us to have this kind of clinical definition. At its simplest, that definition says that a private network is a logically discrete cellular network that is customized to meet a customer's specific needs. Now, there's also a more involved version of this where we add that this logically discrete cellular network will have some dedicated network elements, which could be operating functions, infrastructure, or spectrum. They could be, but they don't have to be. So, from a network technology perspective, this definition is clear but casts a fairly wide net. So, for example, we do include instances of network slicing of public networks that fit into this overall criteria. So, an example of this is the private network deployment at the Rijeka Gateway in Croatia. They are enabling um, smart port capabilities. They've been deployed over a dedicated network slice, so a slice of the public network that's dedicated for those purposes. There has been additional network equipment deployed on site, installed to ensure the necessary coverage, etc. But it's all technically public network infrastructure. So we do include slicing instances like that that fulfill the criteria of the use case of the private network. Very occasionally, I come across some strange kind of rogue examples that use some different technology configuration that kind of does meet this logically discrete requirement. So sometimes the definition can be fuzzy, but for the most part, this definition provides clarity for us. Um, so that's what it is, but what about what it's for? So that's already kind of implied in the definition. Implied in that definition is the fact that private networks are there to meet a single customer's specific needs. But that's pretty vague. I mean, who are these customers? What are their needs? At STL Partners, we maintain a database, our private network deployment tracker, and in that database, we've aimed to gather the details of all of the publicly discussed private network deployments running from 2014. And one of the pieces of data that we record is the industry sector of the customer for each private network deployment. And from that, we can see private network customers come from many verticals. The customer whose specific needs are being met could be a port, an airport, a mine, an oil refinery, a stadium, a municipal authority, a hospital, a logistics hub, electricity provider, and so on. But by far the most significant vertical within this group of existing private network customers are manufacturers. But then, even within that dominant vertical, there's a lot of variety. We could, of course, be talking about automotive manufacturing, like the Jaguar Land Rover private network deployment in the UK, or we could be talking about aircraft manufacturing, such as we've seen private networks deployed for Lufthansa in Germany. We could be talking about pharmaceuticals or steel or sugar production sites. So there are an awful lot of different customers, and of course, they all have a lot of different needs. So it may be hard to really summarize what is a private network for in a way that feels meaningful. But then if we look at this data set and we look at the use cases that have been mentioned in connection with all of these different private network deployments. Some are just about creating reliable connectivity and communications throughout a site to create that really reliable coverage and bandwidth. But increasingly, private networks, and within that, especially private 5G networks, um, are being used to connect cameras and sensors and vehicles and robots. And they're enabling more advanced use cases. They're enabling the gathering of real time data to drive um, real time data driven decision making based on that sensor data, based on things like video ingest and analysis. And this real time data driven decision making can also then lead to full automation of processes and vehicles within these industrial sectors. So these private networks are helping enterprises to operate more effectively. But more than that, they're helping them to digitize. So, another way that we can think about mobile private networks is that they're a powerful tool supporting the digital transformation of multiple industries. Now, that kind of sounds more exciting and more compelling than a logically discrete cellular network meeting specific customer needs. But there are some important things to remember. So, private networks may be a powerful tool for enabling this digital transformation across industries, but they're just one in a whole toolbox that has to work together. A whole variety of tools that depend on each other and can't do the job on their own. It's not the one tool that's going to solve all the problems and enable the full digital transformation on its own. It's just one of the elements. The other important thing to remember is that the customers across all these different verticals probably don't really want to engage with the toolbox. And in fact, many of them may not even be ready to engage with the concept of digital transformation. What they more likely want to know about are the smaller elements that are building towards that digital transformation, things like the new solutions to their most urgent challenges, the new and better solutions enabled by digital services and data driven decision making, and also the new capabilities that will bring immediate business impact for them. Private networks are discrete cellular networks that are specifically designed and customized to meet specific customer needs. They're also powerful tools that help enable digital transformation across industries. And that's an exciting thing to be. STL Partners believes that there's a strong future for the private 5G market, but that there are also many challenges to overcome. And if you'd like to know more about the intelligence and insight that we offer around private networks, please visit our private networks hub on our website or get in touch.